Well, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith. I was about 15 minutes into this, and I was reading part of an article, and I realized that I read a couple of things that would get this taken off. How's that for freedom, huh? Let freedom ring, right? Well, as you can imagine, I'm just a little bit irritated about that, but I'm not going to let that get in my way today because we have some things to cover. Welcome to everyone. Excuse me while I look over here. I'm getting my computer set up. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to all of our new subscribers. It's great to have you here, and welcome to everybody who has joined us over on Patreon. We really appreciate that. That's a way that you can support us if you'd like. I'll tell you a funny story before I get started on the news today. I came over and as I've said before, if you'd like to support us, we appreciate it, and we use that money, whatever money we get from Patreon, we use it, to put back into the channel and to help us do things. And today, I came in to shoot this video, and I looked around, and I looked for my tripod, which is usually here, and couldn't find it. I finally looked under here and saw it on the floor broken. Now, I know none of you did that, but I have suspicion who might have done it. It's all right. These things happen. The funny part, though, and I'll get another one, okay? But the funny part is, in order to film this today, the phone, which I use for doing these videos, because I don't use a camera. Why use a camera if I have a phone, right? Is sitting on a stack about like that. Well, you couldn't see that. About like that, of reversions. Not American Reversions, but The Reversions, my books that I named this channel after, and is sitting up in order to make it face me. And I don't know if it's facing. Is that right? It's leaning up. I have it leaned up against a can of Sweet Harvest fruit cocktail and heavy syrup. So anyway, I'll do that. I'll do that until I have a chance. This afternoon, I'll order another tripod off of Amazon, and I'm sure it'll be here soon. Until that, you're leaning up against some fruit cocktail and heavy syrup. So thank you, those of you who have contributed and supported us over on Patreon that allows us to do that. What's going on today? A lot's going on today. I've been a little bit slow the last couple of days getting things out because I've had so much going on, and there has been so much going on. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to keep up or catch up on a lot of those things that I have on the list, but I want to talk about a couple of things here that are pretty important. The first of which is Biden's ban on Russian oil. We know that this is, as a matter of fact, we know ourselves, and he has assured us it's going to hurt. I know that you all follow this probably as closely as I do, many of you. The idea that we could be hurt by the shutting down of Russian oil is ludicrous. Now, should he have shut down Russian oil? That's a whole different question, okay? And that has to do with how you feel about that situation over there. But what I feel is that we shouldn't have had to, because we shouldn't have been taking any Russian oil. There's no reason in the world for us to be buying oil from anybody. We're sitting on more gas and oil than anyone in the world. We've got 100, 200 years worth of gas and oil right underneath us. But the Democrats, the liberals, have, of course, stopped us. They want to take us off of our strength. They want to take us off of our strength for a variety of reasons. Essentially, they are enemies of the American people. How can I say that? If somebody wants to hurt you purposefully, how are they not your enemy? Okay. These people aren't that stupid. Nobody is that stupid. Even they are not that stupid. Okay. There's no way that they think their policies are good for America. Now, some of them may be that stupid. Joe may be that stupid, and his assistant is undoubtedly that stupid. But the people behind them aren't. They know the effects that the earth is having. Now, other than the diehard communists, which are a good percentage of them, the rest of them do have a deep-seated distaste for what America is and has been. They want to change it into something different. They want to change it into Cuba or something like that. Let me read here for just a second what Joe said about this shutting down of our importation of Russian oil. President Biden said Tuesday that the United States was punishing Russia for a vicious war of choice in Ukraine. BS. By banning importation of the country's oil and gas, but warned Americans, here's the big part, warned Americans that the decision would inevitably mean painful, higher prices at the gas pump. Okay. It's going to be painful, higher prices. Now, what could we do to mitigate that? Could we start producing our own oil? No, we can't do that, right? Because that would be good for America. And that's against what they want. So instead of opening up our production, instead of letting that pipeline continue, instead of telling all of our people in Louisiana and Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas, hey, drill, baby, drill, and let's start pumping out, it's better to go to another enemy of our country. Where else would we go but Venezuela, right? So they're going down to Venezuela and talking to them about, hey, could we have some oil? I get this from, what is this? Uncle Sam's MisguidedChildren.com. But you can't get much better than that, right? Why is the U.S. now negotiating for Venezuelan oil when we have our own? Good question. The Biden administration has sent a team of negotiators to Caracas in an attempt to restart imports of Venezuelan oil to the U.S. The penchant Biden has for getting crucial oil from our enemies is staggeringly ignorant. We're energy independent for 4 years. Now we are dependent on dictators for the oil to run our society. He's obviously afraid of the leftists, meaning the greenies, in his administration. I'd love to know what you all think about this. I know that you all are going to have some thoughts, and I know you all are smart. This isn't one of those difficult situations to understand. Why you would want to shut down your own production, not only for your own use, but to export to our friendly countries in Europe and therefore increase our leverage over there. Because by first off, shutting down our operations over there, essentially allowing Russia to have them, and now shutting down Russia to us, driving up the prices, he's made the European countries more dependent on Russia. And now we will go, instead of to Canada, to Venezuela. What do you think about that? What do you think? Is he stupid, or do you think what I think, as that they're trying to destroy our country? I think they're trying to destroy our country. And when somebody tries to destroy you, what does that make them? Here's something else that's very interesting. And this comes from MSN.com. I had somebody make a comment. I don't think that it was on this channel. It might have been on the other channel. I was reading something off there. And they said, well, watching MSN is your first mistake. Well, no, not really. You have to go to different news outlets to get different stories. And I always find it interesting to see how the stories are covered differently. And I'm sure you do too. I mean, we all know that's what's happening. Anyway, the headline here, and we don't have to, their opinion's really not going to come into this. It's the headline and the basic facts of the matter. And the headline is Biden expected to issue executive order on cryptocurrency as a step toward regulation. Well, now that's interesting. I've never gotten into crypto. Perhaps some of you have. I never trusted it, and I don't trust it simply because I don't understand it. And I'll be right up front with that. Now, maybe if I understood it, I'd have more trust in it, but since I don't understand it, I don't trust it. I don't trust anything that I can't hold in my hand, that somebody on a keyboard anywhere in the world could tap out a couple of things on his keyboard and all of my buying power is gone. I don't trust that. And I can't barter with it either. So here's the thing, and I think, and I may be wrong, and straighten me out if I'm wrong on this, but one of the reasons that I've heard people say they get into crypto is that it allows them to operate economically outside the official economic system. Is that right? I mean, I don't know if that's right or not, but that's what some people have told me is their reason for getting into crypto. Okay, maybe let me know what you think about it. But here's the thing. If that's true, then there's a problem. Okay, President Joe Biden is expected to sign an executive order on cryptocurrency this week that will mark the first step toward regulating how digital currency is traded. Well, there's that old R word, right? Regulation. The move comes as administration officials have raised concerns in recent weeks about Russia's use of crypto to evade the impact of crushing sanctions in response to the invasion of Ukraine. The sanctions have sent the ruble to historic lows and have closed the country's stock market. Let's see if there was anything. It seemed like there was a sentence down here that I wanted to get to, but I'm not going to waste any of your time trying to find it again. The order is expected to describe what government agencies, including the Treasury Department, need to do to develop policies and regulations on digital currencies. It is expected to include a request for the State Department to ensure that American cryptocurrency laws are aligned with those of U.S. allies, and will ask the Financial Stability Oversight Council, which monitors the stability of the U.S. financial system. Did you all know there were all these groups? To study the illicit finance concerns. Additionally, the order will explore the possibility of a new central bank digital currency. The Federal Reserve issued a paper on the topic in January that explores the risks and benefits of U.S.-backed digital currency. Well, if the Fed's involved, what could possibly go wrong, right? Okay, those were the two major things of today. Before I say anything else, I want to put one of our subscribers sent something that was just very interesting to me, and I thought you all might be interested too. It has to do with the history of why "In God We Trust" is on our money. I'm going to read. This is from the U.S. Department of Treasury. We've talked before about God as being our foundation in this country. One of the reasons the country has fallen apart is because we've turned away from God. As a country, not us individually, but as a country, our country has turned away from its basic and past understanding that all of our blessings came from God. We truly were a blessed country for so long. I think that those blessings have been minimized and perhaps retracted because of our national behavior. Okay, that's me. Let me know if you agree or not. I think that many people do. But I'll read one paragraph, and I've put this whole article over on Patreon for you to read, because I think it is great. It's very interesting for me, and thank you. And I'm sorry I don't remember who it was that sent this to me or put it in a comment. It's also one of the reasons that if you join us on Patreon, make sure that you read the comments, because there are some smart people over there. Okay, this is, again, it's from the U.S. Department of the Treasury, and it is the history of "In God We Trust." It begins, "The motto 'In God We Trust' was placed on United States coins largely because of the increased religious sentiment existing during the Civil War. The Secretary of the Treasury, P. Chase, received many appeals from devout persons throughout the country, urging that the United States recognize the deity on United States coins. From Treasury Department records, it appears that the first such appeal came in a letter dated November 13, 1861. It was written to Secretary Chase by the Reverend M.R. Watkinson, minister of the gospel from Ridleyville, Pennsylvania, and read, maybe I'll just read this. I'll read a little bit. Dear Sir, you are about to submit your annual report to the Congress respecting the affairs of the national finances. One fact touching our currency has hitherto been seriously overlooked. I mean the recognition of the Almighty God in some form on our coins. I'm going to stop right there because it goes on. It is excellent after that. And like I said, I've put that up over on Patreon. I think you all might like to get that. Now, here is the article that I was reading, and I have to be very careful about this, that I just was reading along, happily, and realized about halfway through a sentence that I had just read something that would have this pulled off. And it's from WorldNet Daily. And let's see, I got to be very careful here, but it is important. Documents reveal that feds paid news outlets to praise the Pope. Now, it's probably not a surprise. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, right? I mean, we know that there's pressure, and we know that the media is just the lapdog of the libs anyway. Well, they are the libs, right? It's just another branch. It's the operational branch. It's the propaganda branch of the libs. But paying outlets for it is a surprise to me. I'm going to read this very carefully. I might have to stop and jump around. Only recently has it been revealed that one of the pokes for you-know-what, pushed by the federal government and pharmaceutical industry on Americans, many unwillingly over the past 2 years, could cause, and now I have to stop, because there is a whole list of things that they say it has caused. And among the, I can't even say that. I'm going to put this link over on Patreon. Also, here's a whole nother list of things, a whole nother paragraph that I can't say, I can't talk about. How about that for freedom? How about that for America? That I can't say any of these things. Okay? Now it has been revealed while Americans were facing those life and death threats, the federal government was paying news outlets $1 billion to promote the you-know-whats. The Blaze reported through a Freedom of Information Act procedure, it found, here it is, guys, the government purchased advertising from ABC, CBS, and NBC, as well as cable news stations Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC, legacy media publications including the New York Times, Los Angeles Times, Washington Post, digital media companies like BuzzFeed News and Newsmax, and hundreds of local newspapers and TV stations. The report explained these outlets were collectively responsible for publishing countless articles and video segments regarding the vaccine. Oops. I'm just going to leave it. That were nearly uniformly positive about the, you-know-what, in terms of both its efficacy and safety. Chairman Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel, which has been actively fighting the POC requirement, said people have been injured and died as a result of the most extensive propaganda campaign in U.S. history, and it was paid for with our taxpayer dollars. These were neither safe nor effective. However, the American public has been given propaganda instead of truth from the news media. Sadly, most of the American corporate media has been paid off by the Biden administration to publish propaganda. The consequences that many people have needlessly suffered as a result of censorship and propaganda. Well, we know that, right? I mean, this is something that we've been dealing with for a long time. Liberty Counsel explained that according to the investigation, Congress appropriated $1 billion in fiscal 2021 for the Secretary of Health to hand out in attempts to strengthen confidence in the United States. Then hundreds of news organizations were paid by the federal government to advertise for the shots as part of a comprehensive media campaign by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The massive flood of money created a national initiative to increase public confidence in and uptake of you-know-what, the report said, by having trusted messengers and influencers speak to news organizations to provide factual, timely information and steps people can take to protect themselves, their families, and their communities. The Blaze reported the newsrooms then did not tell their audiences that they were getting paid to promote the vaccine, the whatever agenda, as common practice dictates that editorial teams operate independently of media advertising departments, and news teams felt no need to make the disclosure as some publications reached for comment, explained. Well, that's a bunch of BS. Because it used to be frowned on, the pay for play, that if we put an ad in your newspaper, you'll say nice things about us, right? Well, it was never the truth. I mean, you spend money with a news outlet, they're going to say nice things about you. You're essentially buying their testimony. You're buying them. When William Randolph Hearst was given a talk to some journalism class, might have been the University of Missouri, I don't know. He asked the class, full of all these wannabe journalists, right? He says, what is the main purpose of a newspaper? And of course, all the little wannabe journos, raised their hands and said, to tell the truth, to change the world, to do this, to do that, right? He shook his head and said, nope, to sell advertising. And don't ever think that advertising doesn't affect the editorial content, because it does. I'm going to put this up over on the Patreon page. Okay, more of this stuff is coming out. Hey, buddy, how you doing? More of this stuff is coming out. We know the points of today are that we know that the people who are sitting in the big chairs right now are not friends of our country. They're doing everything they can to destroy our country. It makes it more important for us to get out there and to have an effect if we can. Spread the views, educate those around us. If we don't, nobody else will. And we have a chance coming up that maybe we'll be able to, to have an effect on the next elections if we put ourselves to it, and if we work at it, if we prepare ourselves to be able to present our opinions, to present the facts that back up those opinions. And it's vitally important that we do so. This is why we do it. This is why we put stuff out, so that we can share this with the people that need to know. So I'm going to leave it at that. Again, I'm going to put this stuff over on Patreon. Hope you'll go over there and join us. And thank you for joining us. Excuse me, I'm trying to adjust this computer here. And tell us what you think, too. We have a couple of major things that we went over today, and I'd love to hear your opinions on it. And share this with your friends. Remember, America needs a reversion, and it needs you to be a part of it. And it needs as many people as you can influence to be a part of it, too. So you all have a good day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.